Well, boys, we are back with another video. This one's a little step outside of the Hunter series. I've been getting quite a few emails and in-game tells on my spell lineup for just killing, all the placeholder trash mobs, just how I run through and what's the order. So I thought I'd throw one together for you guys real quickly instead of having to type out responses every time. This is not the answer. This is how I play. I'm fairly successful with it. It works for me. It might not be the best playstyle for you guys. I have a strong pet that tanks really well. So Ciri takes care of all the healing. I don't have to worry about that. I do keep a pet rune and a pet heal in the spell lineup, but that's more of just like an oh crap situation. So the lineup that I use for just everyday fighting when I'm not worried about needing a drain, a tap, is Spell Gem 1, Decree for Blood. That can proc Chaotic Power and give you a big increase in your DPS. 2 is the Combo Disease, Gorman's Grip of Decay. 3, Big Pyre. 4, Extermination. 5 and 6 are Poisons. 7's are Small Pyre. 8 is Raging Shadow. 9 is the Dot Drain. I keep that in there just on... It's not an oh crap situation, but I just like to have it constantly feeding Jobber and myself. If you've watched some of my videos, especially fighting the first bosses, one of them I got knocked down to lay death like negative 18%. And as it happened, I healed myself with the dot. It popped me up. Ciri healed me back. There we go. I just think it's a good spell to keep. It's not really a DPS spell, but it's one you want to hang on to. 10 is Ignite. And then I have Swarm Pet Scale, Rune, Pet Heal. And then in slot 14, right now I've been keeping the Undead Dot, Scourge. It does, not great damage, but it does damage for non-undead. And then a pretty big chunk for undead. Now, if I'm fighting something of value, that gets swapped out for my tap. But so the way this will go is I will cast down through the Scale Pet, then click 14, and then it'll go back through the order. Now, I'll walk you through that as we do this. If I have robes up, I use it, especially against even con mobs. These placeholder mobs, they have more hit points than like your blue cons. So I go ahead and use it just to speed up the process. That's solely why. If you're fighting in a group, I don't know. Maybe you use robes, you save it for when you get named. I'm not sure. But for me, I will click robes after I hit Ignite, just to get it in the majority of the dots. The undead dot will catch up. I don't refresh the undead dot much. Anyway, boys, so what I'll do, this mob can't be snared, so I'll hit Pet Attack, which is 2, and as soon as I hit it, I'll hit just automatically. I'll hit Darkness, and then I'll hit Debuff. So 2, 5, 6, and so I start with 2, and then 3. I'm going to try not to spam, but I get these off as fast as I can, so you'll see refresh is important. 4, here's 5, and then 6. And then 7, 8, 9, 0. Okay, at 0, which is Ignite, I go ahead and click Robe. I immediately go to Scale Pet, and then I immediately click Undead Dot. Now at this point, 3 is blinking. That's big. I go ahead and cast Decree for Blood. If it procs, great. If not, okay. 3 is now refreshed. 4 just faded, but it is back in right now before the click. Now we do 5, 6 for the poisons. At this point, I go back to Skelpet. So we go 11 for Skelpet. We go 10 for Ignite. We go 9 for Healing Dot. Now we're back to needing to refresh. So we go 1 Decree for Blood. Chaotic Power just proc. That's great. Now we need Double Disease back. We need Big Pyre back. We need Extermination back. At this point, Small Pyre is blinking. So we jump to 7. We skip 5 and 6. Now we go back to 5 and 6. We put our poisons back on. And if you notice, we're back to blinking on Ignite. And so we start with Skelpet. We go with Ignite. We go with Leech. At this point, on this mob, we keep casting. And I'll go 1 for Blood. Another Chaotic Power is great. Do 3 for Big Pyre. And at 6%, I'll leave it alone. Now, boys, I will put all of that in the description. But in general, the way this works is you cast down through 0. You hit Robes. You hit Skeleton. You hit Undead. Then, date out. Then at that point in time, you're due for a refresh of Big Pyre and Extermination. Now I go ahead, like I said, and try to slide in a Decree for Blood in case I get Chaotic Power. So once you're down to 14, you hit your Undead dot, jump back up and do 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 4, which is Blood, Big Pyre, Extermination. Then you need 5, 6. Which is your 2 poisons. When your 2 poisons are, you're done with those, you don't go 7, 8. You jump back down to Skell. You go 11, 10, 9. At that point, you're back in Double Disease. So 2, like I said, I'll show it to you guys again on this next placeholder. It's a pretty easy rotation to memorize. And I know that was with Robe, but Champion 8, let's call it 890. You know, nothing mind-blowing, but it gets the job done quickly, quick enough for me. Now these are going to be Blue Con, Elder, I want to say Hedgehogs, but that's not right. Badgers. I just totally blanked on that. So I will sit here for just 2 seconds. I don't really need it. I really just want Jobber to show up. Sometimes it takes him a while. There he is. So again, boys, we will hit 2 to send, 5, 6, which is snare, debuff, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you have robes and you want to, click it at 10. Skeleton Pet is 11. Undead Dot is 14. Go back up to 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip 7 and 8. Go back to Skeleton Pet. Rinse and repeat. Let me show you one more time. We go 2, 5, 6. And we start with 2. We go 3. We go 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. We don't have robes, so we go to Skeleton Pet. 11. We click 14, Undead Dot. At this point, we want to do a direct Decree for Blood. So 1, and now we're back to needing Big Pyre. 3. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Now we need 4. I'm running a little behind because of lag or something. 5, 6. We skip 7 and 8. We go down to Skelpet 11. Ignite 10. Healing Dot 9. At this point, Double Disease is starting to fade, so I go ahead with Decree just to try for Chaotic Power. Got it. Now we start back on 2, and then 3, and then 4. This time, small pyre's fading, so we skip 5, 6 and go to 7. Then we go back to 5, 6, our poisons. And on this mob, we're looking at 17%. I would 11%. I'll just throw a decree. Didn't get it, but it's fine. It'll finish out. So that's it, boys. That's my just grinding placeholders, everyday trash mobs, working AAs, whatever you want to call it. That's the spell lineup I use. That's the schedule that I use. I will write it all out in the description. If you boys have any comments on it, please put it below. It's one of those things that everybody does differently. I am certain there's a parser and a high-end raider that has a much better setup. But for me, with utility being having the pet heal and the pet rune, it's along with trying to maximize DPS. That one, for example, without robes was 650. So still, I think respectable. It gets the job done. What was that? 112 seconds, so not even 2 minutes. It's effortless to me. Again, you guys probably have your very own setup, and there's probably 1,200 different ways to do it, but this is how I run it through. So I hope this video helps you boys with your spell lineup. This is, of course, 125. This is the Outer Brood. This is with pretty much all your spell focus AAs done and all that. But that's the lineup. That's the schedule. You guys have any questions, put them below like I already said. We'll see you boys in the next video.